Hello everyone, this is a brief presentation on your visual artifact PSA assignment that is due after spring break. With this assignment, like every assignment, your reference list, which is right here, is submitted as a separate document. So you'll submit two documents. One is your reference list. One is the visual, audio visual PSA brochure flyer item that you are creating. The reason you're submitting two documents, in real life, it is rare that you have a reference list or in-text citations in a flyer or brochure or any visual of this format. Your reference list will have a minimum of one or a maximum of 5 strong relevant sources, and as always, more is not better. So again, two items. One is your reference list, two is the visual, audio-visual artifact. So the purpose of this assignment is to help you understand how to apply health communication strategies to a real project. If this were a real vaccine campaign, you would not just do a 15 to 20-minute presentation, but there would be other items that would be pushed out. There might be messages on in-house TV screens. There might be social media posts. There might be TV commercials. There might be print ads on buses or bus stops. There might be ads that are given out in churches, synagogues, and mosques. So this is to try to mirror what would happen in real life. So the first thing you're going to do is you have to decide one of two items. You're either going to create an advertising or marketing tool for your program. So that means that you would create an advertisement or a marketing tool to your population about what's happening in order to excite them and make them want to come to your event. The other option is to create one supplemental item to support this campaign, and there's lots of options that you have for that. Once you decide if you're doing one of these two things, you then have to decide on the type of artifact you're producing. The second item can be a visual flyer, which will be front back, a trifold brochure, a PSA, which is the public service announcements, can be visual, just photographs. They can be words like print, and they can be audio. They can appear on any media format. It could be a poster, or it could be an audio video document, which we'll talk about a little bit further down. The templates, if you use them in Microsoft, this is what they're called. I will check again to make sure that they're still called this. It changes every so often. No matter what they're called, you're only allowed to do certain items. So, for example, if they're called newsletters, flyers, trifold brochures, you still can only do a flyer or a trifold. You can use Microsoft products. Another free product is Canva. Canva will create a document that's readable across platforms. And I just said across platforms. What that means is no matter what you produce, has to be readable for Mac users and PC users. So because Microsoft is given to you free from the college, that's one option. Canva is another option. There are other free tools out there. If you're not sure if it's going to create something that goes across platforms, ask and I will let you know. Your document is going to be a PDF or something compatible with Word. A PDF or Adobe can be read across formats. So if, for example, you make something in Pages, which is a Mac program, save it as an Adobe, or you can make it compatible with Word, or you have to make sure that it's readable across platforms. And this would be in real life too. You cannot create a document on a Mac and push it out, or create a document on Google Docs and push it out and people not be able to have access to it because of their format. So whenever you go out in the real world, you will have to create items that are compatible across all 4 platforms and formats. So this is going to present facts from your topic to your audience. So all of you have the same topic this semester. You all have different audiences that you chose. So these are the samples of things that you have. There's only one item where you can work in a group, and that's because of the complexity of what you're doing. So the first items that I'm going to go over, you can only do individually. That's because they're not complex enough to have different people have different roles. So the first item is a flyer type item. It must be two-sided with a maximum number of words of 100. The brochure is a trifold. It will be front back, and it has a maximum number of words of 175. The PSA, if it's in print, will have minimal words. It's one page. If you make a poster, it's minimal words, more than a PSA, but far under any of these other documents. It's one page, not front and back. A PSA is one page, front only. So front, back, front, back, front, front. If you want to work in groups of 2 or 3, you have to create an audio-visual artifact. It can be a 10-second, 30-second, or 60-second item. These are the typical lengths that appear in media. On television, in that mode, it's usually a 30 or 60-second comment. In social media, it could be any of these, depending on what the message is. So if you want to work in groups, this is the only item you can create in groups of 2 or 3. If you do complete it in a group, you must fill out the format at the bottom of this form, which is slightly different than the other ones. One person will submit the artifact. Everyone submits a form if you work in a group. If you want to do the audio visual and you want to work alone, that is okay. You can work alone on any of these items, but the only item that can be a group is this last one. Font size varies with the item. For example, headings are larger than text. The fonts that are easiest to read are Calibri, New Times Roman, and Arial. Font should never be smaller than 12 point on this type of document. So just keep those things in mind, and remember the links that I gave you for designing, for basic design principles, to make sure that you follow those as well. Be mindful of design principles, be mindful of the topic, and be mindful of your audience when you're creating this. So this is the scoring rubric. I want to point out how easy it is to get points. If you follow the directions, excuse me, that's 2 points. If you have an APA list with over 90% of the items professional, that's 1 point. If you have an APA list with up to 1 hour, that's 3 points. So that's 6 points. Follow directions on font spacing, word limit, all of the directions that are given. That's 6 points. Age appropriate, addresses diversity in your audience. That's 6 points. Spelling and grammar is 3 points. So if you were to do all of these things and have all of your content be wrong, 3, 9, 15, you would have 6, 12, 18, 21 points. So you would automatically have a C if you follow all of the directions and all of your content is incorrect. So I point this out to you because at this point in your career, your college career, you should be able to follow directions, find professional sources, have APA with 1 error or less, follow directions again on age appropriateness, you need to follow principal designs and directions given in the assignment, and you need to not have spelling and grammar errors. Those are things that you should just come automatically at this point in your career. So I just want to point out to you how easy it is to get a C on this assignment. A 21 is a C, it's the lowest C, and that means that every piece of content that you have in your marketing tool or your artifact is wrong. So please pay attention to the directions. Make sure that you follow all the directions that are here. Make sure you follow designing principles. Make sure your artifact is age appropriate, addresses diversity, is visually appealing. Make sure you pay attention to all of the details of the assignment, and it's relatively easy to get a C or better. If you have questions about this, please make sure you ask. I'm doing this so you can get started if you want to. Feel free to watch this as often as you want. The form you have to fill out if you work on the AV assignment is here. Again, make sure you follow directions. It's relatively easy to get a C on this or better. I look forward to looking at your work, and if you have questions, please remember to ask.